Okay, and so here I am. I've already went ahead and put foundation on. I don't typically use primer, but I did go ahead and use a moisturizer, which of course is the Tatcha water cream. Um, for today's look, I mean, it's still kind of summer outside as much as I want it to be fall. So I figured I would go ahead and pull the Jeffree Star Jawbreaker palette back out. Um, and do a look with it. So I'm going to go ahead and dip into the shade Wow, which is a bright yellow up here. So I'm just taking that yellow shade in the crease and blending it out. This is just a fluffy blending brush from Essence. Very affordable and very useful. I mean, it's only literally like $2-3, something like that. It's one of my favorite go-to blending brushes because it's really, in my opinion, it really disperses the color well so that it makes blending quite easy. After that, I'm going to go into the Shadow Sour, which is just a traditional green color, borderline lime green. I'm using the same brush because I'm just layering. I'm going to go right under that yellow and apply that. Again, this brush helps so that even if you do pack on a lot of shadow, you're not placing too much in one area at a time because it kind of fans out. So that just really helps with the blending process, as opposed to like a really densely packed brush where you might put too much in one spot. It also helps where your hand is on the brush. Like for instance, I have mine closer to the end of it so that I'm not putting too much pressure on my eye. So now that I have both of them to the kind of pigment that I want on both sides, I'm going to go into this bottom shade, which is called Cherry Wet. It's kind of like a pinky red. I'm just going in with a flat shader brush. I'm going to pack this all over the lid. Whew. And it is a very pigmented shade. So I kind of started a red artificial cut crease. I'm going to go back in because we lost some of that green and go back over where the green was and meets the red to kind of intensify that. I need to make the red on the side more even. And don't worry, we're not finished. Because it's going to look kind of crazy right now. Now there's a pink shade in here that's called Cotton Candy. It's a very intense shimmery shade. We're going to take some of that on our finger, and I barely touched it. And put that on the center of our eye. Give it a little dimension so it's kind of watermelony. So there's this red, and then there's this shimmering pink. I think we're going to add some glitter too. And I'm going to figure out what to do with the outer corner. Pulled out my Anastasia Norvina Volume 2 palette. And at the very bottom, there's a shade, it's called E3, which is kind of like a deep, almost teal green. And I think I'm going to use that to deepen the outside corner to bring more green to this look, since that red shade was so pigmented that it kind of almost muddied the other green. And I'm going to blend this out, and I'll be right back. Now with that flat brush, I'm just going to go ahead and take that same outer green shade and drag it across the lower lash line. I'm not going to drag it all the way in because I don't want to close off the eye. And I'm lightly dragging the brush down so it kind of blends a little bit and makes that green a little less harsh. A little more pizzazz to this look, I'm going to add a couple glitters. So I have this, this is a Morphe palette. It was 10G Glisten Up. Not the most pigmented palette on its own, but in conjunction with other palettes, it's quite pretty. So there's a shade in here. It's a really pretty pink, and the shimmer reflects gold. Let me see if I can get it to show. It's a lot more pigmented on the camera than it is in person. But I'm going to place this on the center of the lid where I put that other pink eyeshadow to add even more light to this. And the camera's not picking up how really pretty this look is. These glitters are so nice. They're definitely toppers. And I have nowhere else to go, or I would be putting it down. But if you're going to go out somewhere, you're going to want to use a little bit of a glitter base because they'll fall out. There's not much to them. And then on the kind of where the green meets the pink, I'm going to use, there's a Live Your Life glitter. It's just a little bit of green. And just right there, I'm tapping it in just for a little bit of extra something. Because none of these shades are just one color. None of these glitter shades. They all have other colors mixed in. That looks really pretty. Okay. I'm going to take this Essence highlighter. This is in Be My Cosmolite, which is a really pretty shade. It reflects gold and green. So I'm just using a small precision brush so that I can put this right in the inner corner. I'm gonna bring it up a little bit too into this green because it looks so pretty over the green. So in order to bring even more color to this, I'm going to use this ColourPop Cream Gel Liner. This is in the shade Electric Daisy. And I'm going to line the waterline with that. And bring it down just a little bit into that dark green. And I'm going all the way in with this. That same brush I used for the dark shade, I'm going to sit there and kind of smudge that lighter green liner so that it blends a little bit with that dark green shadow. Looks pretty cool. Okay. I'm going to align my eyes, put some mascara on, and I'll be right back. I also went ahead and did my eyebrows off camera. So hit liner, mascara on, and I changed the light settings because I didn't realize it was so yellow. So hopefully you can tell a little bit better what this is looking like. So I'm going to move on to blush, and I'm going to go ahead, and this is going to be my first time using the Rouge Romance palette by Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics. And I'm thinking about going in with the shade Dainty. I'm going to be very light-handed at first, since this is my first time using it. I barely touched like my brush to my skin and barely touched the brush to the powder, and already there's a fair amount of pigment, which is good. Just means you got to use a really light hand, and this powder will last you a good while. Looks like I have a stripe, but I don't. So, not sure what that's about. Just using the Wet n Wild angled brush. It's one of my favorite brushes to use for either blush or contour. And it's very inexpensive. I mean, when I purchased them, the first time I had purchased one, it was only $1. Now the prices have jumped up to $2. I guess because of how people realize that the quality is actually fairly decent. So that's where we are right now. For lips, I'm going to go in with this shade, this lip pencil from Illamasqua in the shade Lust. I'm going to line my lips with that. I don't think I've ever used this lip liner before, so. Fill it in a little. I filled in my lips a little, and then I'm going to take this shade Relentlessly Red from MAC, which is one of their matte formulas. And because I can't get enough color, that's what we're using. But feel free to use whatever shade you want, whether you want to use a nude or what have you. And I can already tell my cats are into something, so that's great. And there you have it. So feel free to add lashes to this if you want. I'm going to just use a quick setting spray. Maybe throw on some lashes later. But for right now, I just have one of my favorite mascaras. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this look. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And feel free to comment below a look that you would like to see. I tend to lean towards colorful, but I can do natural looks. So, hope you enjoy this. Stay tuned because I will have an Ulta haul coming up. See you next time. Bye.